Hey guys, welcome back to Kerbal Space Program. My name's George, and this is our rover that we are taking to Duna. We are on an escape trajectory from Kerbal, and we've got a little rover here with tons of parachutes and whatnot to slow us down. We've got a very oversized lander because we are testing how heavy payloads do in the atmosphere of Duna. We've only set tiny little things down on Duna, and this is our experiment to see how the big stuff does. And I think it's going to do well. I haven't landed this on Duna yet, but I think we're going to do okay. So, off we go. We're pretty far away from Kerbal right now. I had a little moon encounter that kind of kicked us further away from it. But I've actually had quite a few problems with the moon. That is cool screenshot time. Eclipse, that is awesome. That is incredible. Okay, anyway, moving on. That's even cooler. One more screenshot. Okay, now we can go. So, off we go. And once we get out of Kerbal's sphere of influence, we will get ourselves an encounter with Duna. So I'm going to do a quick save. I've been having problems with quick saves. My game keeps crashing when I'm running fraps and recording, and then I do a quick save. So, alright, we're outside the sphere of influence, so let's get ourselves our encounter with Duna. So let's just start, push us out towards Duna, and then we'll just start to rotate around. Set that as our target. Very far away. Okay. Very, very far away. Did I really just... Stupid thing. What we might have to do is we might have to do a couple orbits. And I think that's what we're going to have to do. So, let's just time accelerate. And keep going. We just had an encounter with Kerbal. That was weird. Let's take a look at Kerbal. Should be towards the sun. There it is, our home world. Far away from us, passing us now. Can see both Minmus and the moon. Slowly but surely, we're getting there. Not very fast, but it is happening. Okay, let's see what we can do from here now. A little bit of time has passed. Let's try here. And we'll move it along as we go. So we're there, so we need to fire earlier? No, later. Getting close. Might have to time accelerate a little further. Let's go ahead and just start time accelerating. Getting pretty close. Okay, I'm gonna slow us down now. Let's see. That's us, so we need to go later. More thrust. Getting there. There we go. Okay. It's time to accelerate around. Go and do another quick save. So, one thing I wanted to talk about is, I put up a video about a week and a half ago, which was my last video. I've been having real bad troubles with my audio, again, but not based on my stupidity and lack of attention, like I said before. It's based on I'm having hardware problems. And I can temporarily fix it, if I do some, you know, when I plug in my audio jack, I gotta kind of shimmy it, and then I can get it, and I have to hold it really still. So I have it right now, and I know that I have it because I have my audio settings off to the right here. I play Kerbal Space Program in windowed mode so that I can get the higher frame rate. Because when we first started playing it, we were in the VAB, and we had a really bad frame rate. If I play in windowed mode, you just get higher frame rates. So that was the plan. Oh, missed it by a little bit. That's fine though. So yeah, I posted something on YouTube, just a little, like one of those channel posts about an hour ago, and that was kind of explaining my predicament, and then with more investigation I figured out the problem, kind of, and I'm able to temporarily fix it, so I can make more videos, and that's a good thing, because I haven't made that many videos because I couldn't before. So now I finally can, and I can bring out some more Kerbal Space Program content to you guys. Oh, gosh dang it. Stupid RCS. Stupid me for not turning off my RCS. So you can see here, lots of parachutes. These orange ones here are very high atmosphere parachutes. They're not that big at all, but they slow you down quite a bit. So we're going to use those. I've got them set up to where I can just hit space and have them activate, and we're just going to have them activate as soon as they can. And then once they deploy, I'm going to do the same thing with the bigger parachutes. And I got one great big one right in the middle here. Okay, I'm going to time accelerate, correct our trajectory here, and we're good. So we're now going at 4 times the amount of time per second, so I can show you guys these burns, and they can go a lot quicker. This is supposed to be about a 12-minute burn. Now it's going to be about 3 minutes, so that's good. Let's turn our lights off. We don't need this on. So yeah, here's a little rover. Little bit redesigned because I started a new game so that I could get rid of all the debris. And I remember most of my ships just by memory. I don't have to do much innovating to rebuild my rover. I remembered how I built it, so. Okay. Just when I do that, I'm just adjusting my trajectory because we get a little off. Still got tons of fuel. It's a good ship. And it does the job pretty well. Alright, again, just adjusting the trajectory. Oh. Forgot to turn on my SAS. Alright, we're getting pretty close, so I'm going to go to the map view. I'm going to go to 2 times time acceleration. Just keep an eye on it. That's a really bad periaps, but we can fix it once we get close. Alright, I'm veering off course a bit. Okay, getting that encounter, but I need to get it just right. So I'm going to just do the rest of this with our RCS. No, I'm not. Okay, good enough. That's a quick save, and off we go. You can tell we don't have a very good periaps because it literally changes our orbit almost none. It just takes us down a bit. So we need to fix that, and we can only really do it once we get nice and close. Seems like we're right on its plane, but we could be a bit off. Let's get a bit closer, about here. And let's start doing those corrections. So let's take a look here. It looks like we're a little south of it, so I'm going to point us north. Let's see what that does for us. And it's going down. Game is not liking that very much, I guess. And as soon as this number starts to go up, I am going to burn, I think, I'm not exactly sure. Okay, that's as close as we're going to get in that regard, and it looks like I have to burn, let's see, I have to burn towards the sun, it looks like. So, I think this is towards the sun, right? Yes. I wonder if we can see it yet. Probably not. Alright, it's going down. Just doing nice slow burns. Alright, under 3 million. Under 2 million. Under 1 million. Just a really steady burn. Ever so slowly. A bit more. Alright. It's about 60,000 meters. That's gonna do us pretty good. Quick save. And let's get ourselves to Duna. You can see now we've got a bit more of an encounter. It really screws with our orbit. Okay. How are we doing? Looks like we're coming a little south, so I'm going to burn north a little bit. I've been working on my orbital mechanics, and if you have this here, you can look at this. If you just kind of line yourself up with the planet, and you look at this, if you can get this flat, that's a good indication of where you're going. So if you're going to end up going north, you're a little far south. You want to get this nice and flat. If you're a little far south, you want to go back up north, because you want to get yourself right on the equator, and if you're on the equator, you're not going to get flung off upwards or downwards compared to the equator of the planet. I practiced on the moon. So there that goes. See, it's going down. So this is telling me that we're going to get right on the equator. Perfect. We've almost got pretty much a right angle, a little bigger. So let's point ourselves. Oh, we don't need to. We can see it right there. So there it is. Going to quick save once again. Gonna go in nice and slow. We're gonna have to start this burn really early. We need to slow ourselves down, and all we have is this nuclear rocket. So we really need to slow ourselves down. So I want to start slowing down like here. If you can see that, like about here. Because it's gonna take that long for us to slow down. I didn't add anything like a heat shield because Duna's atmosphere is so thin, the chances of us actually getting re-entry heat is pretty small. You gotta be moving to get that re-entry heat. About as fast as we're going right now. Okay. Let's take a look. Getting nice and close. And we've kind of got ourselves a perfect trajectory here. We're going to slow down. We're going to complete one orbit around the planet. We're going to go all the way around. And I think we're going to land in this big area here. So let's get just a little closer. Alright, let's start our burn. I think this is retrograde. So this is going to be a big burn. Doesn't look like we're quite even with the equator, but we're pretty dang close, so we'll take it. Whoa. Lines. can see this starting to slowly move over this way. Eventually it's just going to keep coming, and then wrap around. And we're going to have an orbit. As long as we get to that point, as long as we're in orbit, I will count this as a successful mission. And we're going to learn a lot if this doesn't work. I'm going to be able to know exactly what went wrong. And be able to fix it. Send another probe here if this doesn't work. I'm not gonna have this not work and then send a manned mission. We need to get a rover on Duna first. And then we will send a manned mission here. So, yeah, I want to put... I think I was talking about this earlier in a different recording that I wasn't able to use because my game crashed. But I said earlier I want to... I was talking about how I wanted to execute having manned missions to Duna, and how I wanted to have it done, and how I wanted to make sure that our guys could come home, you know, that kind of thing. And what I'm gonna do is we're gonna build a station around Duna. Slowly but surely. It's gonna take a while. It's gonna have a lot of fuel in it. It's gonna be completely unmanned at first. And but what we're gonna do is we're gonna have some of these, you know, really big tanks here. Not these ones, but the orange ones. I want to have a couple, like maybe 3 or 4 of those here, just packed with fuel, so that we have more than enough to get our guys home if we need to. And we're going to build ourselves a lander that, I want to build a lander that can completely land only with parachutes. I don't want to use any fuel. If I do have to use fuel, I want it to be for like 3 seconds right before we land. You know, so that's my plan. I want to make this efficient, and I want to make it safe for our guys. Okay, I am going to cut our engines, and I'm just going to move us forward a little bit. See, we're only about 53 kilometers above the surface. Just showing you how thin the atmosphere really is. I thought about maybe trying to aerobrake, but it's just really not worth it. I mean, I guess it's more fuel efficient, I guess it helps, but it's really not going to make that much of a difference. Maybe we should send a rover to this crater here. That'd be kind of cool. Not going to be able to do it with this spacecraft though. Just not enough fuel to change our plane enough to get us up there. I suppose we could slowly but surely drive all the way up there, but that would take forever, and I am just not that patient. So here we go. But yeah, I want to build a station, and I want to be able to make it so we can send guys to Ike from that station, take them back, and then put them back in to orbit around Duna, and then dock them once again with the spacecraft. What's really cool about Duna and its system, and Duna and its moon here, Ike, is that they're very small and they're very close together. So it's very easy to get something from kind of I'll put us into an orbit or about here when we set up our station, and it'll make it really easy to get to Ike, really easy. So that's kind of a plan. That's what I want to do. And I think that'll be probably the most interesting way. I don't know any, or I don't know of any YouTubers that have that have an entire space station around Duna. A lot of that will happen behind the scenes. I'm not going to make it so you guys are watching me do every little thing, and once I get better at editing, which I'm still working on, I can just kind of cut missions together to where, you know, you're only really seeing me show up and rendezvous with the station, and just kind of showing you the critical stuff, and then we'll start to yeah, what am I trying to say? I don't know. We'll start to blah blah blah. We'll start to do landings on Duna, get manned missions, you know, and do science and all that stuff. So I think what we're gonna do, I'm going to keep burning until we just go ahead and have a landing spot. Okay, I'm gonna cut our engines there, because it's not gonna work out the way I thought it would. And when we're at our apoapse, I'm going to take us down a little closer. Actually, I think I'm actually going to accelerate a little bit, take this out so we're not in the atmosphere, and then we'll burn here and slow ourselves down. Because I don't know how far out I will catch the atmosphere, but I think we might even start catching it around here, and I don't want to slow down all that way. I'd rather just use my rockets, and, you know, because that's what I know. I don't know too much about Duna's atmosphere. I don't know how it's going to affect us. I know that it really starts at about 20 kilometers up, and that's where we start to get into the thick of the atmosphere, even though it's not that thick. It is the thick part. So it looks like this is going to be kind of slow, which is why I want to put our station in orbit out here. It'll just be easier for time acceleration. And we'll also do things like, I don't know, set up a couple communication satellites and things like that. All that stuff. Alright, there's that. Let's point ourselves prograde. Looks like we're gonna do a backflip. Or a spin around or whatever. But yeah, I think of all planetary or moons, all planetary bodies or moons, I think Ike is probably my favorite. I don't know why. I just like it, you know? It's just cool. One thing I do want to do, I want to take this rover to Gilly around Eve, because that is like such a low gravity. I heard it's like 0.1% or 1% of the gravity on a Kerbal. So that would be sweet. Okay, looks like we're good to go. And I want to take a rover there, and I want to see if I can jump it off of a hill and get it into orbit. That would be so freaking awesome. I know that, like, I think it's like if you jump with your Kerbal or your Kerman guys, if you have them jump on Gilly, I think they go like 1.5 kilometers up. Like, it's just ridiculous how low the gravity there is. So I think we could have some fun with that. You know, take a couple different spacecraft and see if just by driving forward we can get ourselves into orbit. Because I think, what is it like? I think it's like 5 kilometers away from it. Its orbital velocity that you need is about 10 meters per second. So I think we might be able to get there with a rover and see if it might not get us into orbit, but it'll take us far away from the moon, and then see if we can like land it just by driving. That would be awesome. Anyway, here we are. The critical moment. Turn on my RCS. And I think I'm going prograde. Yes. So here is our landing site down here. Really just kind of anywhere here. Let's see if I can zoom out a bit. Out. Just kind of anywhere. Going into this strip will be kind of cool, but you know, we might end up over there somewhere. But whatever. Alright. Throttle all the way up. Turn off our RCS. And we're coming down. Alright, we will hit the planet. You know what I should have done? I should have put another probe body on the top of this, and then we could take it back into orbit. Or see if it can get back into orbit. I should have done that. Too late now, though. But I figured that if we can get something like our Mooner lander that we had earlier, if we can get something like that onto the surface of the moon without using any fuel to get down, that will be more than enough. Because the Mooner lander that we used, and I'm talking about the one that we used to deliver the permanent moon base and things like that, that big one, if we can get that thing and have it full of fuel and get it all the way down to the surface, using no fuel whatsoever, that's like, that'll be more than enough to get us into orbit around Duna. More than enough. And I want to do something that takes, you know, that's more than enough, you know. I want to go extreme. I want to have lots of fuel on the surface, you know. Have something that can go up, land again, and then go back down. One thing that I do need to check, though, is I have seen people repack parachutes with their Kerbal in orbit. You take them out on an EVA, and I've seen them pack parachutes, but I don't know if that's a mod or if it's in the game itself. I've never had to repack a parachute, but if we're going to do that, then we're going to need to repack them. So I will, if it is a mod, I'll figure it out and I'll install it. But if it's not, you know, good for us. I like to use stock parts. I don't like using modded parts. I've never even used MechJeb. I thought about installing it not for using it like to do my missions for me, but to give me more information. And I think there goes our nuclear engine. We're all out of fuel. So I am going to turn off our RCS, turn off our SAS, and just double check this. Yes, that is it, and good chunk. Okay, turn on our RCS, back us away from it, dethrottle, and turn off our RCS, activate those engines, turn back on our RCS, point us retrograde, and fire. I want to get us inside this thing. There goes that. It will crash into the surface of Duna, and it looks like we're going to be landing around here. So I am going to activate those parachutes. They will deploy as soon as they can. And once they deploy, I'll set down our landing gear, I think. Maybe I'll wait for the bigger parachutes. Moving very slowly, only about 200 meters per second. About 300 now. Alright, I am starting to see the texture. But we're still says we're technically in an area where we could be in orbit. Those chutes should open any second now. Maybe not. We're still pretty high up. 18 kilometers. I'm just adjusting us so that when we do need to fire the rockets, we're exactly retrograde. In case we do need to fire the rockets. Which I think we will. Alright, waiting on those. I'm going to fire, slow us down a bit. Oh, there go those parachutes. There goes the big parachutes. Putting down our landing gear. Slowing us down. With our rockets. And we're coming down. Waiting for those chutes to open. Oh, there go the small chutes. Alright, we're speeding up just a little bit. Alright, we're doing good. We're in a nice flat area. I'm wondering if where we're landing is considered sea level. Because it's completely flat. So these chutes, the big chutes, should open at 500, if that's correct. There go the big chutes. Alright. The impact weight for these are 12. And it looks like we're going to be under that. So I'm going to just give us a little burst right before we land just to slow us down to maybe about 5. And it seems like we're going to land at sea level. And it seems like this is a great place for us to land too. For our manned missions, I mean. Okay, we're getting close. Oh, bouncing, bouncing. Ooh, ooh. Ah, that scared the crap out of me. I was so worried we were going to tip over because I haven't quick saved in a long time. I realized that right when it was just starting to tilt over. But anyways, here we are. We have landed. We are on Duna. So, our last step, obviously. Let's go ahead, and I'm going to do a quick save right here, so that when we're done, if we crash or something like that, I want it to be on the surface like this, just so that I can use it whenever I want to experiment or something like that. So when we're done, kind of roving around, I can take us back to this setting right here. Because I know that it's perfectly fine right here. But anyway, let's go ahead and... there it goes. Let's engage all of our sensors here. Alright, I'm going to turn off our brakes. And it looks like we're going at it from this angle here. And here we are. Alright, that thing should fall off. There it goes. Alright. Nope. It exploded. Well, here we are. We have our tiny rover. We are on Duna. And times are great. Let's turn on our lights. They work very well. Alrighty. Well, sweet. Well, parkour. Okay, I forgot to go into talking mode. So since we quick save back there, we can kind of do whatever we want with this thing. So let's see how fast we can get it to go. This is a very desolate land. Very, very desolate land. Doesn't look like it can go much faster than this. Probably just a low gravity. We're speeding up. We're getting there. I think the max that these wheels can go is what is it, like 21 meters per second or something like that? That's how much energy they'll push out. But yeah, looks like we're starting to come towards a mountain. Kind of. Not really. A hill. Oh, we're going towards this area over here. Well, this is awesome. We have a rover on Duna. We have Interplanetary robotics. Awesome. Next time we're going to have to find a bit more interesting of a place to land with our manned missions, but this is a good start. This is just above sea level, so this is kind of a good indicator of where we're going to land next time, so I can kind of remember, you know, the lowest point that I could find is around 120 meters above sea level, and that should give us a bit more of a reference about where we're going to land in the future. And it seems like those parachutes, if we have enough of them, can handle quite a big payload. So then the next time that we come here with a manned mission, which may be a bit more in the future, I have a couple more things that I want to do, but it could be very soon. Blah, 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 what was I going to say? Man, I'm not a good commentator, am I? I cannot remember what I'm saying 95% of the time. Anyway, here we are on Duna. And going to turn on our brakes. Looks like our tires aren't completely even. but that's okay, they work. So, because I've been having problems with the game before, when I quick saved, or when I reloaded my last quick save and I was running fraps, I'm just going to go ahead and end the episode now, and then I'm going to teleport us back there. But anyway, my name's George. Thank you for watching. We've done it. We've gotten our rover on Duna. Pretty long episode. So I'm kind of glad in the end that I had a couple problems in the beginning. But anyway, if you like this video, feel free to subscribe or like if you haven't already. I'd really appreciate it, and I'll see you guys next time.